Okay, so I finished doing my putting tone in Art Rage with the watercolour tools. I didn't actually put much more in than where we left it. What I've done now is I brought the image into Photoshop. I use CS2. Let's find what I need. And here we are. I've kind of put in the tone, starting to take shape. I've spotted a couple of things I don't like, so I'm going to alter those in Photoshop. Now, when you do a drawing in pencil like this, a lot of people, myself included, tend to drift off a little bit to one side. It's kind of how you sit, it's a bad habit. I think it's possibly to do with handwriting, all of these kind of things. Just a bad drawing in general. And often my drawings drift off to the left. Now I can't see that, I don't perceive it, it's how it happens, it just seems to bypass my brain. It's why one great advantage of working digitally is being able to flip your drawings and paintings very easily. So you would get around this traditionally with light boxing, where you put your work onto a strong light and turn the piece of paper the other way around, or even hold it up against a window. In Photoshop, of course, we can just flip it instantly. Now I notice in particular, just towards the right hand side of the image, everything's leaning slightly to the right now. It was to the left. It's all leaning to the right, particularly down here in this cave section down the bottom. I don't like that at all. I think it's all falling off the page. So what I can do is go to transform, skew, just drag it across back to being upright. There we go. I almost want to do a minimum amount of this. I don't want to do too much. I don't mind a little bit of drift. You know, this is kind of like a handmade thing. I don't mind it having a little bit of character like that. But I do want it to not be totally wonky and thus destroy all kind of suspension of disbelief. So I've dragged that back. I'll have to neaten up these edges a little bit. I'll just clone that across, or perhaps what I've done here, just to show you quickly, was to create a new layer that was flipped the other way, and there's the original drawing. So if I just, here what we'll do, we'll make another new layer, and we'll transform that, flip horizontal. So now we've got the skewed version, and this is very similar now over on this right hand side where there was a gap before, because it's now overlaying the image before I skewed it. If I select the right kind of eraser, I can just erase that edge. A nice soft eraser will erase that edge. Let's just zoom in and make sure I'm getting it right here. Okay, I want to go back a couple of steps. Don't want to erase so that you can see the fence underneath. But say over this area I can really push in. Around here I can really push in. Just soften up what I've got, that hard edge. Smaller eraser where I can still see some hard edge. You have to be careful because you get a bit of doubling up. So where I've erased, over here you can see I've got duplicates, but that's okay, that'll go as I paint over it. At this stage that's not a problem. And again, it's, you know, digital media is so versatile, I could overpaint that in just seconds and it would not be a problem. In fact, you know what, having said that, I'm gonna just paint it out right now so we don't forget later. I don't know if you can hear my little baby son Ben is in the background shouting his head off. His mum's there with him, so I'm not having to rush off and look after him, but I hope he's not coming through too loud and spoiling your enjoyment of watching me cheat at drawing in Photoshop. That's a whole can of worms, whether this is cheating or not. Lightboxing isn't cheating, clearly. So this is in effect exactly the same process as lightboxing. Cuts out some of the manual labour. I personally don't have a problem with that. I'm not an artist to do manual labour, that's not why I did it. I wanted to do lengthy sort of physical processes. I could always go and break rocks or dig ditches, but I want to just create imagery in the best way I can do, and I think this is all part of it. So there we go. Something else that is bothering me. You can see there's these little sort of windows on the gables, almost on the roundhouse. I don't really like those the way they are. I think they're too far over to the right hand side now, so we can sort that out by just moving them across. That's a bit better. Also, we've got a big problem here, something called a tangent. Follow the line of the stockade all the way around, and it hits this line that I used to put these windows, whatever you want to call them, eaves, gables. To put those in, I drew a little line, and it actually follows the line of the stockade. I don't like that at all. That's really bad. Oops. So I want to move the windows up a little bit just to get them off of that line. And I'm also just going to paint it out, even at this early stage. I just think that is a recipe for trouble later, having that tangent there. Already I feel that the shape of that roof is stronger and more believable now. It isn't cut in half by a line that looks like it's the fence. We can see through the roof. There we go. So I use a bit of Photoshop just to correct things if I can at an early stage. This is all still a bit, again, you have to be careful. This building is meant to be a little bit kind of on a slope, a little bit on a slant. This area at the front here is definitely coming across the side of a hill. This side is higher than this side. That's all fine. I don't want it to be too geometrically perfect, but I don't want glaring errors if I can help it. I have to be careful when I'm recording this because I don't want to make it sound like I think I'm some kind of super genius. There's a lot of problems with my drawing and painting that I'm constantly working on improving. But what I can get right, I want to get right. There we go. I think the structure of talking of things I need to improve, the structure of this hut roof is not such a great one. Let's just